Mr. Williams, good afternoon to you once again.
Good afternoon. Sorry about that.
No problem. All right. So we were talking about, I said, you know, when we were having our conversation, you said that the city is not in disarray, but you seem to say something different during the time that you were talking to me. You then said that you blamed the administrators and that the city must now recover. And I was asking you, well, which one is it? Is it the fact that the city is not in disarray, or the fact that you're blaming the administrators for the city being in disarray, as I'd put it?
Well, as I said, the Constitutional Court found that the council collapsed, and therefore the council could not fulfill its executive obligation. That's what the Constitutional Court found. And the Constitutional Court found the reason for that is that the ANC and EFF councillors walked out. That, however, was never cited as a reason by MEC Maile for placing us under administration. Now, what happened since the 1st of November? That is no longer the case. That disarray that you referred to is no longer there. Council has had every meeting prorated. So since 1st of November, we've been able to have several meetings, even 2-3 meetings per month. And we have been able to take decisions. So council has been functioning normally. Yeah. What has happened, the 8 months that the administrators were running the city, they caused chaos in service delivery, and they also caused chaos in our finances. As I said, from a 297 million rand surplus, within 3 months, they changed it into a 4.3 billion rand deficit. The last 8 months, from 1st of November until 30th of June, we turned around that position. So instead of sitting with a 4.3 billion rand deficit, it is now a reduced deficit of 914 million rands. And if we continue on this financial recovery path, then over the next year, we will end up with a surplus again.
Yeah.
And when it comes to basic service delivery, for the 8 months, basic service delivery was non-existent.
Yeah.
So since November last year, we fixed over 150,000 street lights. We fixed over 30,000 potholes. So basic service delivery has recovered. It's not at the level where it should be, but it has recovered significantly.
You know, as we're leading up to the local government elections, Mr. Williams, SABC has actually been out in the streets and talking to residents of different cities in our country. And one of the cities that we've certainly been to is yours, the City of Tshwane, where you are the mayor. And there've still been complaints. There've still been complaints about the issue of water, the water crisis, the issue of electricity really topping up most of the people's concerns. So when you say to me and you argue with me about whether or not the city is in disarray, it's not even about me. It's about the people that we've actually spoken to on the ground. So maybe I should change the question then and ask you, what have you done and what are you then doing? And I'm specifically now talking about those issues which have topped the agenda when we speak to residents of the City of Tshwane, which is electricity and water. And I say it again.
Let me start with water. There are two issues as far as water is concerned. The first issue always mentioned is Hammanskraal. The Constitutional Court found that the Hammanskraal problem was not created under the DA administration. The Constitutional Court found in the judgment that the Hammanskraal water crisis started before 2004. And from 2004 until 2016, when the DA took office, the issue was never addressed. We started addressing the issue. Two issues concerning the Hammanskraal water crisis. There's the Temba water treatment plant and the Rooiwal wastewater treatment plant. We built a new Temba water treatment plant. We doubled the capacity from 60,000 kiloliters to 120,000 kiloliters. So we have a new water treatment plant that was built between 2017 and 2019. The second factor that causes the problem in the Hammanskraal water crisis is the Rooiwal wastewater treatment plant. Unfortunately, that treatment plant has never functioned properly for decades. So we've put in place a phase 1, which will be completed by October next year. And there are still 2 more phases to follow. And once that has been completed, then the central part of Hammanskraal will also have clean water. What we've done for the eastern and western part of Hammanskraal, eastern part now gets clean water from Agali's water because we signed an MOU with them, and the western part of Hammanskraal get clean water from Rand Water because we also signed an MOU with them. The problem area is still the central part of Hammanskraal, and that's where we're delivering water with tankers. Now let's get to the other water problem, the fact that reservoirs have been running empty. Now reservoirs have not been running empty in the city of Tshwane also, but also in Ekurhuleni, also in Johannesburg. But we, the only municipality complaining about it with Rand Water. Rand Water is not fulfilling its constitutional duty. They're supposed to be pumping water to our reservoirs at 10 bar. They're pumping as little as 5 bar of water. So the normal consumption that the residents of Tshwane, when they use their water in terms of normal consumption, because less water is being pumped into our reservoirs by Rand Water, the reservoirs are running empty. It's been happening week after week in places like Laudium, for example.
All right, Mr. Williams, thanks very much.
And as far as electricity is concerned, I can add there as well.
Yeah.
We have over 220 informal settlements in the city. It has never been tackled before. We're going to formalize over the next 3 years 53 informal settlement. And what that means when they are informal settlement, unfortunately, they are illegal electricity connection. And that completely disrupts our electricity system. The other factor disrupting our electricity system, when we have load shedding because of Eskom, that destroys our system, and every time we have to replace these substations and so forth.
Right.
And that is what unfortunately we have to contend with.
All right, Mr. Williams, thanks for your time. Appreciate you giving us your time here on SABC News, the City of Tshwane Mayor Randall Williams. Thanks, sir.